Alright, now I should be going. There we go. Okay, now we're back live. Okay, anyways. I changed a little bit of the video output. It shouldn't be buffering now. Hopefully it doesn't buffer. I had to just lower the quality of the video a little bit for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, what I was talking about was I was going back to Bitcoin, and I was saying to anybody that thinks that that the rules don't apply to crypto that apply to Forex, you're completely insane. The same rules apply. It's the exact same rules. So I follow what is called smart money or inner circle trader, I guess you could say. I follow mostly his stuff. A lot of especially wick-off distribution stuff. Those kind of things is what I look for in price action and what works for me. So whenever I was looking at Bitcoin yesterday, and I had to go to a family thing and whatnot, and by the time I got home, right, it was right around this time whenever Bitcoin was coming back up. I noticed that Bitcoin had cropped its high, right, just punched its high just enough, and I knew as soon as it came back down, it was its purpose. It's an algorithm. What it did is it took out all of the people that were going long, right? All the people that were just going long, and they thought it was going to retest and then go long again. Of course, it didn't do that. It took those people out, right? It drops down a bunch. It makes people think it's going to be another breakout. That's going to be your fake breakout. It comes back up. What's it do? It hits an order block. Hits your 5-minute order block right there. That's where I have this line right here. So this right here, and I'll even put text to it. That's your 5-minute order block. Right? What does it do? Slams. I mean, there is no, if you want to even look at the, I mean, it didn't even close above it. This big green candle. So your last big candle, right? Your last explosive candle before the explosive down move is going to be your order block, right? I mean, it could be from down here, to be honest, but you know, it kind of did one of these where it did up, and then it did down, and then up, then it did down, and then up. So I'm looking at the big green candles that I'm looking at. Drew a line straight across. And as soon as it got near there, I sold. I just hit sell on my CFD and then just watched. And to be honest, I got out right here. I got out the 50. And I was happy enough with that because of the amount of pips I put into, or the amount of lots I put into it. Jeez, I hate it. Sometimes this thing makes me mad. I will do a date bar range really quick. So it was somewhere around here until about somewhere in here. So 400, which is, I think, I forgot how much it was, but you know, if you're only putting in like a 10-cent, you know, risk when it comes to you know, a CFD on crypto, and it goes down 4,000, basically every $20 is $1. So that would have been $400, and just, you know, I think that's what it was. I don't know. I made more. I'm not gonna say how much I made, but it was enough to make me happy. You know, that only took a couple hours. But if I would have held, right, and I knew I should have held, because if we go to the 1 hour, and this is what I was telling people in chat, in this trading view chat that everybody loves to make fun of me in because they think I'm insane, is that I saw this right here, right? This is your liquidity pool. So you have two equal lows right here, right? Fairly equal lows. That's your liquidity pool. This is where everybody has their buys, your buys set right there, right? Everybody has their buys set right here, and they probably don't have their stop losses set, you know, too far below it, because they think this is the actual, you know, resistance. It's not going to get below here, right? boom, it crashed right through that. It actually went double. So if you actually look at this trade, you go from here to here, it comes back up, you sell at this point, it actually goes asymmetrical. Asymmetrical 200%. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect trade than that, to be honest. It's exactly how it was. So, and since then it's pulled up, but you can see now you have another another order block, right? So now you have this whole down candle right here, right? And then it just barely lets up. So this slamming down as hard as it can and letting up, this is now your bearish order block. So now as soon as it goes right back down up to it, basically it's closing that gap that it created, and now it's selling off again. Now the thing is that you do have this bullish candle, right? This one right here, this 1 hour bullish candle after it hit the ground or hit the double extension. You have this bullish candle, 2 bullish candles in a row, right? Didn't crack a high, but it did give enough bullish momentum that you might start seeing, Bitcoin start going up again. I personally don't think so, because you have 2 bearish candles, huge bearish candles in a row. So you have a bearish candle, takes a while for it to get back up, then boom, bearish candles again. So if anything, what you have now again is you have this right here, right? It's under this green candle. This would be your bearish order block. So I wouldn't be right at the 0.27, basically the 127% extension. I wouldn't be surprised to see, and I'll probably trade it if it gets back up to here. Sell, because it's going to continue to fall. I personally think that Bitcoin is going to get down to probably about 18,000, somewhere around there, because it has to balance out. It needs balance. It went up way too high, way too quick. It was oversold. And I hate to tell you crypto people, but price just doesn't go forever. It doesn't go forever, right? And so it'll come down here, it'll bounce, and then who knows what's going to happen to it after that. But that is what I think is going to happen to crypto. Anyways, what I should also say to all you fabulous folks that are watching and listening out there, if you could please do a couple good things for me. Please hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying my work. Please hit the like, the share. All that definitely helps me out. Pushes me up into people, YouTube suggesting my channel. Things like that. So anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. I do appreciate you watching my videos. I noticed my videos have been going up lately, and I appreciate all the people that do watch and like my ideas and things like that. Basically, I'll tell you straight up front, I'm a person that studies mostly from Inner Circle Trader online, from his videos. If you think he's a crock of crap, or that he blew an account several years ago, but live, whatever, his method works. Anybody who actually tries his method knows that it works. If you actually pay, he's the only person that actually gives a narrative to what price action does. It's not just, oh, it goes here and then it does this. He's actually saying there's a reason why price does this, and here are those reasons. And that's the only person that's ever made me listen like that. And it makes sense. And price does certain things because of the way he describes it. It makes sense. That's all I'm saying. So I basically take his studies, right, and I try to put them on charts. So I'm not trying to here to rip off him or say that these are my ideas. I'm here to say this is what I study, and I'm putting them on charts. Okay, so Litecoin basically kind of did the same thing, except for it did it the day before. Somebody asked me to draw a Litecoin chart for them, and I did. And let me get in the 5 minute of this because it'll probably be a little bit easier to understand. because I told them it was in the golden sell zone. I said, but it could get a little bit higher. And they didn't understand what I meant, so I tried telling them. I said, it's hit its high already. It's come back up. It did the same thing Bitcoin did, right? Hit that bottom, except for it did this 24 hours previously, right? So Litecoin is basically following Bitcoin to a little bit to an extent, but it did the same exact pattern, right? It's called turtle soup, right? Has a fake breakout, pulls down, comes back up into that, that 80%-ish area. This is where I called the golden zone. This is where I sold, right? Pulled back up a little bit higher because I missed the order block. The order block was actually right here. So it actually pulled back up into that same kind of area that you just saw, that I talked about in Bitcoin. And then it started to sell. And it did reach, let me see here. I don't think it reached a double, though, like Bitcoin did. Oh, yeah, it did. So it reached double. So this is twice. Here, let me actually pull out and switch up. So what I mean by double is I mean an asymmetrical trade. So from here to here is 100%, right? And then here to here is your 200%. And this is exactly where I thought I was going to go. Exactly where I thought I was going to go. And it did. And it even went farther than that. It actually went to 162%. So these are why I have these fibs drawn the way I do. If you do not have your fibs drawn like this, I suggest you do so. 127, 162, right? Those whisker fibs, and then your next would be 200, 227, 262. Those are the areas I look for. You can throw the 50 in there too. 50's not, it's also a good one to look for, just because those are the fibs that I have. But as far as whenever you're looking for an entry point, you're looking for an entry anywhere between the 618 and the 79. So anything that pulls back into that area is always a good entry point, even if it pulls back a little bit further. The magic is not in the fib. The magic is actually over here on what's on the left of the chart. The fib is more of a guide. So as you can see, this right here was the order block. It definitely hit the order block and then decided to sell. So, and that's what I thought it would do. I actually got out of this trade at 27. And I sold from up here. I want to say it was right at the 75. So it pulled up a little bit higher on me, but it was what it was. But I got out at the 127 is where I got out of. I was hoping it would get to the 200 or the 100 extension, whatever you want to call it. But I am too fidgety. I don't like holding on to trades for very too long. But that's what happened to Litecoin. Now, as far as what's going to happen to it now, let me go to a 1 hour chart. I like going to 1 hours because it also did the same thing. I saw that it had probably some liquidity area right below here it needed to get to, that people thought may have been a support zone. Nope, went right through it. And what it did is it hit an order block. So here is your last down candle before your up candle, and this is the last up candle before an extreme move, right? So this is a big move right here. So that's why this is considered the order block. It went right into that order block. It didn't get below it. So if we draw a line directly from the bottom of this, well, it may have got just below it, but not too much. So this right here is your order block, this red candle. Right, because that was your last down candle, and even then, it would blend into also this green candle, because it would still be going down before it pulls up. So that's why it came down into this candle before it decided to pull back up. What's going to happen to it now? It looks like it created another bearish order block here. Right, so that's why it pulled up into that order block and started to sell. Here is an order block as well, so now it's kind of caught in between. So there, now you have a bullish order block. Came down, hit the bullish order block, now it's starting to go back up. I don't know, it may go up to about the same spot. Now it may be about a struggle. But now you could probably see some buying happening in Litecoin. If you are going to do it right now, is a good time. And wait to see what happens, at least once you get to this 106.4 area here. Only because that is a breaker. Well, actually, no, never mind. I wouldn't buy. As you can see with this red candle here, you already see a big wick. So it already came up, hit the breaker, pushed back down. So now it's starting to try to come back up again. Let me get down to a 15-minute of this, see if I can see anything a little bit better. Oh, there we go. There it is. So now you have one big order block here, pushes down. So the bearish action is a lot stronger than the bullish action. So that's why it's staying below these two green candles right here. It may push up into it, but I don't think it's gonna get any higher. Generally, what you look for in these kind of situations, get rid of this. Let me get rid of the fib since we already talked about that. Let me get rid of some of these order blocks. Since I knew this order block stay above that, what we're talking about is the current order block. What could happen with the current order block? What you do is you draw a fib, right? Make sure you have your 50% mark in there, and then draw your 50% mark out, and then just wait. Or wait to see if it gets close. So here's your 50%. I'll even put 50%. Right. See if it gets close. I would honestly wait for it to get close. I would put a sell as soon as it gets close. As soon as it gets close, and then probably a sell, or probably your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your stop loss. There we go. You put your stop loss just above the last green candle, a little bit maybe ahead of that, maybe even above the last red candle, and then wait for it to go further down. That's what I think is personally going to happen. It looks like cryptos are kind of losing their momentum here. I don't use indicators or anything like that, so sorry if you're looking for somebody that does indicators and does trend lines and channels. I don't do any of that. I look for price action and price movements, price levels, things like that. I'm naked charts only. And if you see me looking this way, it's because I have a bigger screen, and this is this is where my chart is. It's on this big screen right here. So this is what's happening with Litecoin. It looks like it's pulling up. I personally don't think it could get close to this 50, and once it gets near that 50, it'll probably turn back around. And then if you are going to get into a sell on this Litecoin, what I would aim for, you aim for the nearest low, right? So I'd actually aim for, well, this would be target 1, target 2, right? Because this is where everybody thinks that the support is. So if smart money goes below the support, right, it'll take that way, and then it'll probably bounce back up, take out anybody that's trying to go short there, thinks it's going to be a breakout short. So it usually goes short just a little bit, bounces back up, and then bounces back down. Does the same thing here, just goes short, bounces back up, bounces back down. So that's what I would be looking for in Litecoin. Let's check out Ethereum, shall we? I think Ethereum did. I think they all had the same exact pattern, to where it did the turtle soup pattern. Everybody calls it I mentioned this in the chat room. Somebody goes, "Oh, it's just a triangle." Right. I said, but the difference is I trade before you get out of the triangle, right? So you guys are, anybody that trades triangles, you guys are waiting too long if you don't know how to read this. So if it's going up, right? It's going up, does a fake breakout, pulls back down, comes back up, and everybody's doing this, right? go in the, I'm gonna do a trend line. Oh, I'm gonna do a trend line, and I'm gonna do here, and then I'm gonna do another trend line. Oh, look, it's making a triangle. And then you wait for it to break out and then retest. Yeah, you can do that. Honestly, that's actually not a bad retest of a triangle. It depends on how you draw your triangle too. You could be one of those people that's drawing it like this, you know. But to be honest, that's okay. Yeah, you got a triangle right there, and then oh, whoops! It breaks out. It retests the triangle. The thing is that this is all coincidence of price action. Has nothing to do with triangle lines. What actually happened here, and I'll show you, is that once you draw the fib, right? Again, the fib is the guide. It's not the end all be all. What happened is that your last up movement before your last down movement, actually it started way down here. Oops. No, those are, it started way down here, right? So to be honest, that's where I would have personally entered, and as you can see, it came up into it. But there's also, you still have one last, and if you look at this I'm on a 15-minute chart here. If I get into a 5-minute chart, you can probably find it even better. Let me get into the 5-minute of it. Okay, so in the 5-minute of it, you see a red candle. So you can see it's fighting back down. As it's going up, it's fighting back down and then pushes up. So there you have it. There, right there is your bearish order block. That last 5-minute candle that goes up. I'm gonna be willing to bet, I haven't really looked at Ethereum, but I'm gonna be willing to bet it came up right into that order block, this line right here. So first it comes back up into here, comes back down almost 100%. I would have taken that trade easily. Done the same thing here, taken this trade as it came back up. Comes back up, almost touches that line perfectly, and then falls off. And now where are we at? I'm gonna get rid of some, I don't even know where I drew these down here, but it looks like I drew some down here as well. Oops, let me get rid of that. There we go. So we haven't hit the double yet. So we're only at the 127%. So it looks like, oh no, it hit the 162. So it hit the 162%. Oops, keep moving that. So now let's see where we're at now. Now we're at the 162%. I always like to say it's gonna at least get double the, I don't know what all this is in here, but I guess I was drawing a bunch of, 1-minute stuff right at that level. Let me get rid of a lot of these lines, guys, sorry. As you can see, I'm always like right on top of a line somewhere whenever I'm trying to predict something. 162 right there. All right. Has it gotten below? No, it hasn't. So it is going to get to this one level. I can guarantee you that. So I accidentally just hid my hid that from myself. Instead of actually drawing a line. That's what I meant to do. Alright, so right there, and honestly, yeah, it's definitely gonna hit the asymmetrical, that 200%. Reason being is because you have this little area right here. This is definitely a liquidity pool. I don't know if you can see it. It's almost like, well, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to trend line here. So you have a double, basically you come down, you hit this, and it also comes down, almost hits this. So you have almost like a double bottom. So this looks kind of like, support almost, because it's just barely hanging out above it. And plus you have this that comes up, touches this, comes up, and it comes back down. So it looks like support, but it's not. It's going to come just below it. I mean, it'll probably be right on top of this, to be honest. It's definitely going to hit that. Is it going to go down any further? I'm not for sure yet. I would actually have to wait and see what kind of price action is going to come in between now and then. But what I would guess is what to be happening. Let me see if it's balanced yet or not. Yeah, okay. So you do have, there we go. Not 100% balanced. Looks like there's an order block here. Spread this out, see if I can find something in here. Like you have an order block here, so it comes down, right, pushes up, then pushes back down. So you have a really hard push right here. So right here you have an order block. And that little area, well, I mean, sometimes this magnet thing just drives me nuts. All right, there we go. So right there you have an order block. But sometimes I need the magnet. There it is. There we go. So there would be entry, and then also you have another one that's right here because you have a push. I don't know if you can see. Let me get in. This is why I do 5-minute charts, because you really have to look at price action because it's really finicky. So you have a push up. You have a small little cross down, you have a big push up, and then a big push down. So these two, right, these two areas right here would be your entry levels. I would not expect it to rise above here, right? So you have the push down, you have the push up. I would not expect it to get, well, if you want to be real safe, you know, put your stop loss way up here. But I mean, I'm the kind of person, I don't like big stop losses because I don't like a lot of risk, and I'm usually pretty good about not hitting my stop losses either. So what I'm going to expect, and this is what I would do, even if it gets lower, I'm not going to be mad that I missed a trade. I'm going to wait to see if it comes to my area, right? I'm also going to throw something on here. Let me get rid of this fib that's on here. I'm gonna see if that's in the golden area. What I mean by golden area is pull from high to low. It is right in the golden area, so it's above or below the 618, around the 7.5. So it's right in that area that I would definitely. So anybody that missed, right, that missed the original trade, or that missed the highest point that they probably could in trading this down at this level, right, to get a discount, right, on the next trade, you wait for it to pull up into in between the 62% and the 80%. Trade somewhere in between there. So I would wait until it pulls up in here. I'm actually going to set myself an alarm, because I want to watch for this to happen. As soon as it pulls up into here, I will more than likely trade once it gets in that area, sell off, because it still needs to get to right here, right? At least the 127. Maybe, well, the 127 to here. It was the full one of the last fib that we did. But this one, it's more coinciding with the 127, maybe a little bit lower, somewhere around 573. 573 for the perp. If we're looking for, we're actually looking at, you know, ETHUSD. The price might be a little bit different. I forget, perpetual futures are a little bit different than the actual price that you'd find on a swap. If you're doing this on a swap, I probably shouldn't be. You don't, I mean, unless you're trading the actual options of it. But if you're just buying and you know, you're waiting to find the next buy, I don't know what to tell you, because Ethereum probably can sell off probably a little bit more. Anyways, let's get back to the hour so I can find out where that price was. All right, there it was. Boom, it fell down to here. Okay, so it's in here somewhere. So let's get into the 5 minutes. Get rid of this. There it is. Right in here. So there and there. Those are your two entries. So 625, 629 would be your exchange price on Coinbase. 628, 630 would be your perpetual future price. So it's not off by too much, but a little bit off by $1. The only thing that was different, I think, was XRP. XRP, I don't think had this same pattern that everybody else had. It was a little bit different. And I honestly haven't traded XRP. Well, actually, it may have. It may have just done it a lot sooner. Did pulled up. Oh, pull up to exactly a perfect level, 70.5. Exactly where you want to see that trade pull to. Sell, sold off to the 100, exit there for your first one. I would have held off and then traded again as soon as I hit that 618, and now it's falling again. Now question is, where is it going to fall to? That's the thing about XRP, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if it's going to get this low again. I really don't. That's the thing, is that your next liquidity level for XRP is right here. Why are my lines not showing up? There they are. Here's like your next liquidity level that it should go through, right? Or if you wanted to double extend the oh yeah, perpetual futures probably don't go that far back for XRP. So instead, let's check XRPUSD. I think I was looking at it recently and seeing if I could find something similar, and there's really not. It didn't pull back. I mean, it pulled back to the 50, but it didn't pull back to the to the 7.5 level or anything like that. See, but you can see on the XRP versus the perpetual futures, this thing had a liquidity run like nobody's business. I mean, it just ran everybody out of here, which you don't see that in the perpetual futures. You know, I didn't see that whenever I was trading. So I don't think, honestly, it got all the way back up to 70.5. Jeez, come on now. Why are you so sensitive? Okay, it did get to the 618, and now it just blew up really. Okay, here we go. There we go. Got it back normal. It did pull up to the 618, but that wasn't even after it got down to. So I wouldn't even consider that the high if I was pulling a fib. I would have pulled it from here. There we go. Because then it actually does pull up into the 618, and you would have got a good entry on that. Right, and you get the high, you get the fake out, bounces down, 618. Hold until you hit the 100%, right? Exit the trade here, or at least take profit here. And then it pulls back up and almost to the 618. Same thing, kind of like what happened to Etheruem, right? Sell again, pull off. Where's it going now? like I said, I don't think it's going to get down to this low. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I followed XRP through all of this. As you can see, I did a lot. You know, I got levels marked out everywhere. Bullish breakers equal highs. Everything marked in that like little area. Then XRP just kind of jumped out of nowhere, and now it's acting like a big boy. It's a big boy coin. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know what XRP is gonna do. I mean, I think it'll probably get down to this 127. I really do. 36.4. But that's about it. I think XRP is definitely going to hold its own for a little bit. I think Bitcoin and Bitcoin definitely it has some room to drop. I think Litecoin is probably going to, you know, I don't know. The ones I'm really hoping for, though, to be honest, are Dash and Zcash. Why? Because these are the ones with privacy that I love, right? So with Bitcoin and all that, you know, everybody can see everybody's transaction that you've ever made. Dash and Zcash are completely different. These are completely different coins. If you are going to invest in, say, personally, if I was going to invest in, which I do, if I'm going to put my money into something, I'm going to put it into Dash and Zcash, just because these are the two coins that, you know, do not have to have every kind of public, you know, ledger, or anything like that. You know, basically, these are more private coins, and I think they probably have a little bit more longevity in them. You know, the banks can see, and they can kind of get into Bitcoin. They can infiltrate Bitcoin, I guess you could say. I don't think they can necessarily do that with Dash and Zcash, from my understanding anyway. So, that being said, what is going to happen with Dash and Zcash? If I can do an analysis on it, let's see. It looks like what has happened already, and what I would have done. Actually, I'm looking for like a sharp move is what I'm looking for, and then a pullback, right? So something like this right here. Dude, to here, actually up to here, right? And what do you get? That you get that pullback, and you get that pullback into that golden zone, like I was telling you, 61880 buy, right? Wait for it at the 100. Maybe you don't have to wait, but you know, take profits. Take profits along the way, at least above, you know, the 50%. Once you get above the 50, start taking profits, or at the very least, flip it around, right? Flip it around to where it was, the same kind of fib. Wait to see if it hits the 80. Okay, you're above the 80, even better. You know, once it gets above the 80, you know, to take some profit there. I mean, it almost hits the exact high. But what do I think is going to happen to it now? I don't know. It's a good question. I do think this has more buying potential. Even though there is a little bit of bearish movement in here. You see this, but it kind of goes sideways before it goes down. So you kind of have this right here. So I honestly, I would hope this was gonna fall a little bit. Let me see if I can find a good bullish order block. Might be one in here. Yeah, there we go. So that last down push before it springs up, that's your last bearish order block. I would expect it to come right down to there. And this is why people think there's support and resistance around these points, or because it gets close to it or whatever, and no, it's because there's an order block right here, and this is a mitigation point. So anybody that's holding a sell, right? Anybody who has a ton of money, and there's people that do this. Anybody that has a ton of money is holding a sell. The algorithm is meant for these rich people. That way, when it comes back down to this level, they can get out of the sell, right? The algorithm is meant for the rich people, right? So they're holding a sell right here because they think it's going to go lower. Don't worry, rich people, we will come save you. And it comes down, they get out of the sell, they buy at that point, and then it goes back up. That's how this game works. That's how this game will always work. Rich people will always be in control, don't worry. So I'm going to wait. I think Dash will probably come down here, 88.32, buy until 113. My guess, Zcash, it's probably gonna. I think they move similarly. Buy right around here. I'd sell right up around here. So 63 to about 75. Now, let's talk about Forex. Actually, I'm just going to end this video. That way, all you people who liked crypto can just enjoy crypto. And then I will start a different one with Forex. Actually, you know what? My thing says live analysis on Forex and crypto. I'm just going to keep going. All right, so what did I? Okay, so yesterday I did the video on EURUSD, GBPUSD, Euro GBP. Those are the three I watch. Those are the ones I think have. Well, they're probably the ones that are better off to be watching anyway. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get something to drink. Okay, my mouth is getting really dry. Alright, thanks guys. Hope you're still there. Powered by energy drinks. Gotta love me some energy drinks. I probably shouldn't be smoking on. I don't know. I hope YouTube doesn't like cut me off from doing this, but whatever. Alright. So, what I talked about yesterday was EURUSD, GBPUSD, and Euro GBP, right? Now, I expected EURUSD to go sideways, is what I said. I expect GBP to, and the reason I expect EURUSD to go sideways is if we take a look at the daily and we look across, right? What do? We hit a daily bearish order block. So here in your buyer or your maker model, what is it? Is it market maker sell model, right? So this would be your market. This would be the top of the market maker sell model. Question is, are we going to go higher than that? I don't know. So I think we are, because I think the dollar is, especially with as much printing as we're getting ready to be doing, $9 billion of printing, make the money printer go brrr is what we're supposed to go do. I think the euro versus the dollar is definitely going to be, it's definitely going to be reaching above this area, but it's going to be having some trouble getting through this area, right? So that being said, with GBP, you kind of have something similar, except for you have a lot larger area to reach for. So GBP, I think, is still going to be reaching upwards toward this area, right? Kind of similar that EURUSD is already hit, and I've already marked that kind of bar here. See, a lot of people expect it to hit this, right, and then turn around, and I think that's very much retail thinking, even though that is also a smart money theory, because this is considered a breaker. I mean, I would expect it to hit it and fall, but I don't think it's gonna hit it and then just turn around. You know, it may hit it, fall a couple hundred pips, it's going to turn around, come right back up. I don't think that's the resistance point. I think it's a resistance point, but it's not the resistance point. And then it'll continue to go back up. So I think there's still more strength in GBP. So, you know, probably not weakness in Euro, but definitely not, you know, sideways action in Euro. Strength in GBP, which is going to cause EURUSD to drop. So what happened today? It got to a high and then it dropped. So I was definitely right on my Euro. I didn't expect Euro GBP to open as big of a gap as it did, to be honest. But it did come up, you know, hit a top, and I think that was an order block. Definitely kind of hit the same order blockish it hit here. It dropped, and this is on the daily. If we look at the hourly, I'm sure it probably, probably almost kind of like the same kind of deal. You know, they're both coming. It came up into this order block, didn't go through it, dropped back out, closed the gap, and now it's closed the gap. It's coming back up. And then it's probably going to this. I'm already going to Euro GBP. I'm skipping the rest. I'm kidding. I'll go back to the rest of them. But I'm looking at this right here. This big bullet up. Right. See it calmly go down. You see this big bullet up. Boom. There it is. That's your order block, or what I would consider an order block. Now, since this order block already got traded through, I would expect it to come back up, touch the backside, and then sell from there. So that's what I'm looking for in the British pound versus the euro. As far as the British pound is concerned, excuse all my lines, folks. I know I got them everywhere. I'm going to take some of them out here in just a second as soon as I get to the hour. Because what happened is that we cut through, especially when it started, right? So here was yesterday's start. It opened, it fell down, and it cut through all of these daily lows that we had in from yesterday. So I drew some lines in here. This is it also you know, covered the gap that we had from last week. So that's one thing I didn't expect. I expected it to open and go lower. I didn't expect it to get this low, to be honest. And then what the heck happened in the middle of the day? I don't know if anybody else was watching that. I was definitely, what I was doing is I had this on the 5 minute, right? And I marked out the fair value gap. This is right here. So there's a little gap. I don't know if you noticed. Gap in price in between here and here. There's a bullish order block right there. So I'm thinking eventually, I don't know, whenever price does come back down here, I don't know if it'll be soon, but whenever it does come back down here, it's going to fill the gap, hit the order block, and then it's going to continue on. It probably won't be soon because I am expecting bullishness out of the British pound. But whenever this happened, that was insane. I was literally watching it because I was looking at these highs right here, And I was thinking, okay, here's the next pool of liquidity. As long as it can get above this pool liquidity, it's going to keep searching for pools of liquidity. So I was literally drawing these lines out right here. This one says liquidity draw. This one says liquidity draw. This one says liquidity draw. I was literally drawing them out, and I got to this one, and next thing I know, this thing, it just shoots up past all of them. And I was like, I had no chance to even, put a trade on that. I did trade earlier. How I traded this earlier is I saw I got up around 5 in the morning. I was waiting for a good sign, and then I saw this right here. I saw it. I knew it as soon as it hit this low. I looked over. I saw it close the gap. I knew we were going to probably be going up for the day. So my daily bias is bullish. I saw it come up. I saw it hit this, and then whenever it came up here and it cleared this high right here, that's when I knew we were going to be continuously bullish for the rest of the day. So I waited for it to retrace. It retraced right back into that 618 zone I keep telling you about, the zone between 618 and 79. Waiting for it to retrace right in there, and it did. So as soon as it did, I hit the buy button, and off we were. And then I actually did not close my trade until we hit here. 227 is when I closed my trade. It was because it was close to these highs. I wasn't for sure if it was going to hit this and be an order block and then turn around, which it did, but I didn't know if it was going to continue upward, and I wish I would have held. I wish I would have actually, instead of I closed out my whole trade. I wish I would have at least closed out some of it, held on to some of it, but I didn't. So now that we know that, and even then there were so many other trades in here. There was that trade. There was there was this trade, right? So if you waited a little bit longer, it came around 9:30, or even then 8:30, around 9 o'clock. You could have bought all three. Well, not bought all three in here, but waited till it got down to this almost this 80 level, and then bought, and then you still would have been okay. There was another trade. It was this right here. Whatever it, you have this jagged sharp down, then you have it go right back up. I pulled the fib from there to there. It came back down, hits the 618. There were so many good trades in here that you could have got on the bullish move on the GBP today. It was ridiculous. So if you didn't make money on GBP today, I don't know what to tell you, because they were everywhere. It was making so many good drawbacks to enter in those trades. I don't trade usually after 10 a.m. And even then, I was still wanting to, even though I just usually don't. 10 or 11 is usually when I call it quits, but 1 o'clock, it just made this massive, I don't even know what, but then usually I'll let it settle and we'll see what's happening. Right now it's Asian session. It is 7:47 p.m. Central Time. I am Central. It is sitting atop a liquidity zone, so it looks like it's resting right on top of this little block here. And so we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen overnight, but I do expect it to pull up. Maybe it could fall all the way down back into here. Who knows what's going to happen because of Brexit. And everybody, especially with them sealing off their what's it called? They're sealing off their borders. There's crazy stuff happening in England right now, and even though my technicals say the pound is going to go up, the fundamentals say otherwise. But why would the British pound just skyrocket out of nowhere if they're having bad news, right? in the Forex world, the kind of I guess the word is, or I wouldn't say Forex world, but in smart money, what we say is, news doesn't actually cause a trade. News just pushes the money in the direction it was meant to go in faster, right? So if that says anything, then we're looking at more bullishness out of the GBP, right? Which actually, it could be good for the British pound, because maybe there's going to be more transactions that are going to be happening inside of London, or inside of England, and it doesn't have to be international trade that can strengthen the pound, right? I mean, I feel sorry for all of them. I hope them all well. I hope that they're, this strain of the coronavirus isn't going to do too much harm to them. I really don't. But let's just see what happens, what comes out of the British pound out of this. But what I do expect, like I said, it's about 8 o'clock. What I expect is this to continue floating down, right, until we get to I don't know. Okay, I see this right here, right? And usually I go from session to session. So this is the end of the British session, right? So we take some kind of point of interest from the British session. We go here, right? So now we're looking at is probably something to fall back into one of these areas and look right around that 80 area, right? What do you see? You see another order block. So what I'm thinking is that this is probably going to be the point to where, because it looks like it does kind of, retest, I guess is what the word you guys is. I call it balance. Comes back, rebalances, right? Comes back, rebalances, and then takes off. So price needs to rebalance. Price does two things. It looks towards liquidity and it rebalances. It does one or the other, or it does both at the same time, right? So it could look for liquidity as it balances too. But right now it's looking to balance. I think it's going to get right here, right? And that should be the trigger. So would be right on top of here. And let me see if there's any other. It'll look like it could be here too, because you're looking at looks like that's kind of an order block as well. You get the down push, get the push up, and then you get the push down again. So this is the push down that you get from this point. So either way, you're looking at below the 70 level, or 70.5 level. There's kind of a gap in between the 60 and the 70.5 here. So I don't know. I to be honest, I would expect it to kind of continuously kind of float until we get to the London session, European session, something like that. And then, to be honest, I expect it to continue going up. That's just my technicals. My technicals are saying the British pound needs to go higher. For one, we've already seen the willingness for it to go higher, right? It's broken that other high, earlier high. It's filled the gap. Now we just got to see if it's going to break this high or not, right? So, and that's going to be the test. I mean, I think tomorrow is going to be the test to see what is actually going to happen with the pound. If it doesn't go our way, if it doesn't go the way, oops, I didn't mean to do that, doesn't go the way that I would expect it to go, what would I be looking for in a sell? That is a good question. Well, I would wait for it to, man, because it's going to keep going down. until the London session and then just wait for a pullback and then just sell on probably the first good pullback that you find. Sorry, my ankle itched. The thing with the British pound though is that I was looking at the hour of it, and you do have some areas of interest down here. So you have this, you have this.